This is Ryan from the Gecko podcast. The Gecko podcast is supported by Golden Valley Reptiles, a hobbyist breeder of leopard geckos with over 7 years of experience, with main focus of proving healthy, quality leopard geckos. Hello everyone, this is the Gecko podcast, and my name is Ryan, and today we have a really special guest, Chris from the Gecopia. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well, thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah, it's awesome for you to be on. How have you been today?
I'm pretty good, just ending up the Sunday and starting a new day for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Prepare everything, and since there's a lot of breeding going on with my leopard geckos, it's kind of busy, and also like planning for a products launch on Amazon, so there's a lot of things going on, but just hustling and doing the things that I love.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, alright, how about we start off with the questions then?
Sure thing.
Alright, so how does being a breeder impact your YouTube channel? Because on YouTube you're fairly popular on there from, I guess, a leopard gecko standpoint.
Yeah, I guess. At some point, people say it's kind of popular, and some people say it's just a usual. But I started YouTube channel because, like, back in the times when I just got into the reptile industry, like, I was just trying to study everything that I can to make sure that my geckos are living fullest. However, like, there was not enough informations out there back in the time when I was doing research. So I decided to study myself. And while I was studying, I also thought that, like, if I could share those informations with everyone, it would be really beneficial for those who are just getting started with the leopard gecko. So that's why I started creating the YouTube channel, and by doing it that way, now I can make a lot of good connections, like how you reached out to me, by seeing our contents there, and also be able to help a lot of people who are who are basically struggling, don't know really what to do when it comes to breeding leopard geckos.
Yeah, and I like viewing your channel because I like how you do like those breakdown videos, even for like basic morphs and stuff like that too. Because like as far as like other leopard gecko YouTubers or people that did have YouTube channels, I think you take it a different way where you're also learning, but you're also like sharing your information, while these other people are just have already done this type thing, and you're kind of taking people along with you, and I think that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, I just like doing it that way because, you know, when it comes to genetic part, not really everyone's gonna be super 100% right. Unless they go to the lab and do these like specific genetic tests. Unless you're doing it that way, I don't think it's gonna be always true for someone else. So I always like to look and hear other people's views while I'm looking into the genetics. So I thought maybe just learning and maybe helping at the same time will be really beneficial for me and for them, so for the viewers. So that's how I started it, and then people like watching my video, and it really makes a lot of sense. I mean, it really makes my day whenever I hear people saying that they've been helped a lot from my video. So, yeah, I'll keep doing it until until the genetic stops. But yeah, it's been fun for me, so I'm consistently doing it until now.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I like how you're very open too on like about just your knowledge on the leopard geckos too on your YouTube channel, which I think is really, really awesome. And it like you accept feedback too from like people who might have or might know something about a genetic too, and I think that's really awesome and very positive in the hobby to have.
Thanks. So yeah, everything, like when I do something, especially YouTube or making products, there's always like a story behind. And for the YouTube ones, I just understand how like the beginners will feel, like, because I went through the same struggle as they did when I just started with my first leopard gecko. So for that reason, that's why I created the YouTube channel, to help everyone while I'm also learning.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, Chris, so for the second question, how does showing others what we do in the hobby as breeders help, or just on YouTube and stuff, help people understand gecko breeding?
So I know the struggle as a viewer's perspective, so that's why I created a YouTube channel to show everyone how to do things like breedings and what to prepare for their leopard geckos and other species like red-eyed flasking, which that's some other species that I also help for my viewers. There are a couple of people who sometimes tends to see a little bit negatively what we do as a breeder, and I think you probably understand that as well. Where when we put them in the rec system, it's actually really good for them when have everything set up, because the temperature is stable and it's going to be dark when it's during the day. But in a perspective of people who are just getting started, they think it's just a little bit inhumane because we're keeping them in just a furniture.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, overall, like, it's going to be helpful for a lot of people, and I know that for sure. And I've been hearing a lot of feedback as well. So I'm also learning as well to raise a reptile to the next level, like the best conditions. And also I'm helping others as well. So it's pretty much beneficial for both of us, for viewers and for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How does, I guess, people also looking onto your, like, genetic videos and stuff like that, how does that help newer people come in and see, I guess, if they're looking for stuff?
So when it comes to looking at the genetics, there's a lot of informations all over the places, and sometimes some people can be misinformed. So when you're just new and you don't have any backup information, you might think that information is correct by just basically looking at them, their information. And I'm basically there to correct them by looking at the both sides, from the other breeder side and other breeder sides, and giving you the most accurate information. Maybe, like, I may not be the 100% accurate, but if I can at least get them to the more accurate information with all the evidence of pictures and the history part and all the experiment with the genetic combinations, then that's something that I'll be more happy to do for them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I created those genetic videos, so that they understand a lot better. When back in the time, like when I started it, there wasn't a lot of information for me to learn, and I just understand the same struggle as how they did. So, and that's why I created those videos.
Yeah, and a lot of the times though too, when you're like, you could be looking up like on the internet, like information on stuff. Sometimes you just can't find it.
Yeah.
And like, I know I can name countless times back in the past where I was looking for a certain genetic history, and it took me hours upon hours to look for it, and I couldn't find anything until you go onto YouTube, and it's right there in a video. But
yeah, look, every content that I create on my channel has a reason for it, and when people ask me questions, a lot of people that are following our IZ, which I do have a lot of followers, so they do seems to rely a lot of information from me, because they think that I would have a lot of information by posting a lot of videos, photos, and sharing all the knowledge. And when I have been asked multiple questions, I thought it would be a lot beneficial if I have something on YouTube platform where I can just tell them to go there to watch a video to hear all the information without having, like, answering their questions individually will take a lot of times as a whole. So creating a YouTube channel is also beneficial for me as well, to help answering their question as quickly as possible.
yeah, and I think it's also just beneficial too that you also do like kind of the uncommon morphs too, like not a lot of, like how you did the video recently on like the pastel gene. Not a lot of people know what that is, and then for people that do, or like people that want to breed it and stuff like that, there's very few people around worldwide that even have that. And the fact that you're going into genetics that aren't really talked or like spoken about and stuff like that, I think it's a very big of you and very cool of you that you're actually, you know, doing that.
Yeah, you know, like the Paso one, it took me a lot of time for me to do research too.
Yeah.
Because it's tough. Just find some information that are not on the online. You do actually need to double check with the breeders who have experience in those. So it was tough, but at the end of the day, people like him and people learns a lot from my videos. So if that helps, then I'll be more than happy to do it.
Yeah. So Chris, for the final question, why is research so important when you're getting into leopard geckos?
So this is actually a really, really good question. For those who are listening to the podcast, I hope you guys do a lot of research whenever you're starting your leopard gecko projects, because like there are a couple of genetics that you're not supposed to mix with. Giving an example, there's a snow lines where you should not mix each other, like gem snow, mech snow, or albino lines, like there's a bell, tramper, rainwater. Reason why you don't want to mess with them, like mix with them together, is because you won't really be able to tell what genetic will be when you hatch the hatchlings. So those research needs to be done really well, so that you don't really mess up with your projects, but also your clients' projects as well. Because at the end of the day, when you breed, you're gonna probably be sharing or doing a trade with other breeders, and if you happen to give them a wrong information about the genetic parts, now the other person who is going to be doing their own projects will eventually mess up with their projects, and that will waste a year or many years depending on what actually happens with them. But yeah, overall, just doing a lot of research is very, very important, since it's going to be the live animal things. So that's why we do provide all the information on our channel, so that everyone is aware of what kind of genetics should not be mixed with the other genetics when it comes to the leopard gecko products.
Yeah. And then there's also like some lines that you or just genetics that you shouldn't pair, like Enigma, like those have issues, and there's Lemon Frost.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct. So yeah, for those reasons, it's always good to do research whenever you're thinking about doing some kind of projects. Just do like research on like other breeders have to see if other breeders have done it before, and if they've done it, find out like if that went successful or not. Those little things can eventually be a really beneficial as a long run when you're doing a gecko projects.
And then also, like, certain lines, though, too, are helpful. Like, there's a Ron Tremper's Bandit line. If you're going to do, like, a Bandit Bold Stripe line, there's some, like, really good lines out there that will help things. And then that's a thing that people, like, I recommend as far as, like, when you're getting into going for a certain look when you're breeding, do research on other lines that already have that.
Yeah, that's also a good way. And also, like, find some kind of like good example photos that you want to create, and just follow how they did it. That will be really, really beneficial, because if you don't know any genetics, you're not going to know what the outcome is, and if that happens, it's just not going to be fun, because you don't know what things are going to happen when you do projects.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes this is what I like to do, at least. I always like to test breed just in case, because there's always that what if type moment. Like, what if my animal's het for something that I had no idea, and it proves out, and I was trying to outcross it, and it just ruins you. It's like,
yeah, that's one of the things. I also was taught that, like, those big breeders that are well known, reputable breeders, also do test breedings, and I think like some of the breeders don't really like to get geckos from someone who they don't know because of that. Because like if you get it from some reputable breeder who actually can prove out all the information, like history information, you can be confidently doing your project with that and do mix. But if you are doing something that has no information, like the background information, you definitely want to do more research on it.
And like sometimes you'll get like let's just say you buy like a white and yellow from someone that you haven't done research on or anything like that, and you want to make like white and yellow max no trempers, and you cross it to your stuff, and you don't get like a single tremper or white and yellow from that, then you know that something is off.
Yeah. So that's why task breeding is definitely a good option. But some people who want to work on it like fast, who wants to do things faster, definitely want to recommend do a lot of research and make sure you're getting the right person so that you don't make any trouble at the end.
Yeah, and at the end of the day too, like leopard gecko breeding and stuff like that, it's not a race on like who's going to produce the next new morph and stuff like that. And if you think of that way, that's not healthy to think of it that way, because we're breeding it, for our own likes of leopard geckos and what we personally like and all that. But like going into like the race mode type thing, creating a new morph and stuff like that, I think you're going to get a lot more issues with that rather than taking it slow and step by step and finding genetics that are reputable but also like beneficial to the animals.
Yes, that's correct. So it just takes time, and like if you're just getting like started, I think it will be the best just to see everyone's work and just study a lot from them.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they make mistake, you learn from them. That will be the best way. So like how you said you have a mentor who you admire and learn a lot from their mistake. Those things are eventually will be a good things when you are working with the Gecko projects, because you're not gonna make the same mistake as what they did when you actually speak with them and hear their stories about their projects.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I just want to thank you for being on the podcast. It was really awesome for you to, want to do this, and at short notice, too.
No problem. If you need anything else, let me know. Or if you want to watch any other contents on our channel, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm happy to find out for you in the future.
Yeah, and for like future reference, too, if you ever want to do an episode on here, just let me know. I'll find time.
Sure.
Thanks
for inviting.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on here. Do you have any last words to tell the viewers or anything?
So, for me, this was my passion, and I love it a lot. So, hope if you guys are new and you're just listening to this, I hope this becomes your passion too, and I highly recommend trying it out if you haven't, because it's definitely a fun experience.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.